Hello YouTube viewers, welcome to my channel Science to Technology. In today's show, Computer Wednesday, we're going to talk about Xbox handheld console. So let's dive deep into it. Now, something strange has happened in the market is that handheld market is starting to heat up again in 2025. Because while this market used to be very big, very vast, there used to be multiple players, be it Sega, be it Nintendo, be it Sony. But over time, Nintendo came out as a king and Sony was the second closest, and they just yeeted specifically the disastrous launch of PlayStation Vita. So, basically after Sony left, that there was an understanding in the market that the handheld console is like a rare case scenario, because fundamentally mobile phones were becoming that good, so people just like did not try. That's why Sony, after dumping this, they're like, yep, they did not try it. And Nintendo was the only odd case where it's like, even though they were expensive, the people were buying it and people were happy. So all of this is like what people expected the world to be. But then Game Newell happened and this puppy happened. So Steam Deck launched and it changed everything. Now, why it changed everything? But whenever you are talking about Nintendo, your and PlayStation or Xbox or Sega, used to be, basically they were always talking about IP, intellectual property. For example, if I say Sony, you will PlayStation specifically, if you will think of God of War, you will think of let's say some other game that is very integral to them. Basically, the intellectual property is only to them, like Horizon Zero Dawn. And when you are talking about Nintendo, there are certain IP, they are locked to them. For example, you have Mario, you have basically Donkey Kong, things of this nature, Zelda. So these are intellectual property. And many times on top of that, they also get exclusivity, meaning when you're talking about consoles, they will generally get Grand Theft before PC players. Even though PC players will get it, exclusivity means that if you want to play GTA 6 at the moment of launch, it generally will happen on basically PlayStation and Xbox before it happens on basically PC. So how the heck in this world, in this known time-tested 30-year-old market, this company happens, Steam Deck, which is basically a glorified shopping mall. It's like, what does Valve make? Almost nothing. It's just a shopping mall where other people make games and sell games. And somehow they do not have intellectual property, they do not have exclusivity, they launch it and it's successful enough where they sold 6 million units of it in 3 years. That is a lot. Like that number, again, from Nintendo's point of view, this at their best they sell upwards of 150 million unit over time, over a time of a console. But 6 million is still like, it's in millions. How the heck that happened when you have nothing? It's just like, oh yeah, we were a shopping mall and then just we made our own airport. It's like, what the hell? So that happened. It's a very big deal for two players. First, it fires missiles directly at Windows and Nintendo also. So let's dive deep into it, this reheated market. So why it is such a big shot? Well, inherently, back in the old days, console development was a very integral art. Basically, everything was done vertically. And Steam took everything what we call off the shelf, meaning you can just pick up a phone, talk to them, and they will make you. Yes, including the silicon. Yes, AMD will make custom silicon for you if you are placing at least a large enough order. And again, they do for industrial clients, same with Intel. So it's a normal thing. Like you can just pick up a phone, again, assuming you have deep enough pocket, you can get it. Like, and it's a x86, not like, custom ISA and all that, not like a black magic that was utilized for Sony PlayStation 3, that octa-core processor back in those days. It was like almost a supercomputer they had to make. But here it's like, yeah, it's just we have it tailor-made. And again, it's very close to what AMD was already making. They just swapped out some graphics core to a later node, so to say. So they took that and then took another free application, Arch Linux. Basically, it's a Linux-based kernel and they have an environment known as Arch. And they just took it. Again, available, fully available. And then they took Wine and they ported it out. We made it Proton. All these things are available. Nothing here is like, oh, nobody else could have done it. Only Steam could have done that. Why? Well, Steam put something that no other companies have, is wisdom. Because you have to understand, people do not want to sell hardware to nerds or geeks, because again, they are the worst customer. Again, OnePlus, that's why they slowly shifted from those sort of geeky and nerd to, like, royalty and luxury pieces, because you do not want to deal with nerdy customer. They're like, every small fault will become the only fault they talk about. It's like, you know what, it's just a phone, use the damn phone. Same happens with everything. Like again, Nintendo does not want to sell their console to people who know what pixel density is, what HDR means, what is the dynamic range, what does nit means. They do not. This is a console, play, have fun. So imagine 10 times worse than that. Okay, imagine a customer that is 10 times worse than that. Who is that? Gamers. And basically Steam, Valve is successfully handling them for decades. They're like, bro, we got this. We got this. So that gives them certain wisdom that every Tom, Dick and Harry tried. Microsoft tried to make their own store. Basically, Epic tried to make their own store. Electronic Art tried to make their own store, EA. Every Tom, Dick and Harry tried, all of them failed because Valve has that wisdom. Like, there is no discussion about that. That was the magic sauce. On top of that, they put a lot of elbow grease, meaning at that moment of launch, when this puppy was launched, it was like, I can see some potential, but it does need a lot of work. 2-3 years, exact same hardware. It's like, damn, it just works now. So they put literally serious amount of effort into this. So that wisdom of dealing with gamers and the fact that they know what to do, it's like, damn. And they have no legacy. They are not like, okay, Game of Thrones, basically Gears of War, things of that nature. There is nothing. There is no dedicated, you can say Half-Life, but they never released it, Half-Life 3. So it's like, but they still crossed millions. That's a very big deal. And they went from barely playable to smooth in 2 years. To give you a context, that's faster than PlayStation 3. Basically, when PlayStation 3 was released, the actual horsepower on PlayStation 3 on launch day games were not that good. You had to like almost wait for the later end, almost when they are about to release PS4. Then if you had bought games that were released at that time, then you're like, oh, hardware always had the power because software development kit was not that great. And somehow this company figured out how to do all of that in 2 years. Take it and go. Basically, they started, hey, we can almost guarantee that 1,000 games will work to 10,000 games, take it and go. So that is magnificent. On top of that, they made an operating system available for others also, because just they wanted to flex so hard at that point in time. It's like, hey, Rogue, you are basically Republic of Gamer from Asus, that's a brand. They're like, hey, we want to make a console. Oh, make it. You can pay Windows, or hey, you have same hardware, run our puppy into it for free. And they just did it. And people did it. And it's better than Windows. How? So that's the whole thing. It's giving you best of both worlds, meaning there is nothing. Let that be very clear. There is nothing. I have no idea how the heck this myth got started. I worked as a game artist, so I have guarantee you that's not true, is that consoles have exclusives, as many exclusives. The number of exclusives that is available in PC dwarfs all console. All ever launched put together, that would be equivalent of 7 to 8 years of PC. And I mean talking about good games, because SD, there are many amazing games that are launched in PC first, because many indie studio can only afford that. They can't afford launching it on Xbox. And again, we used to work for, I've worked with Forza, I've worked with Spider-Man PlayStation. Yeah, we have to have way too many lawyer agreements, way too NDA, I have to sign, blah, 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 and all that. Again, that takes money. PC, take it and go. So that gives Windows a library depth that you cannot compete with on day one. And all the hassle of basically Microsoft Windows being poo-poo right now, they fixed because they are using Arch Linux. And all the translation, they are working on it to make sure, like Wine's full form is Windows emulator. So it just works. And again, in only 3 years, it went from, it's a cool concept to, holy damn, this is good. So this is shocking in every regard. It should not be possible. Here we are. And again, if it crosses 10 million mark, it would be like, damn. At 10 million mark, that means every gaming studio will look into it. It's like, hey, buy a freaking Steam Deck, make sure our games runs on it. That's how big 10 million mark is. And again, if you are buying Steam Deck, you are buying games, because it's a dedicated system. It's not a smartphone where you might buy a game. This is a system where you will buy games. So basically, it was such a big deal that Microsoft started a project in stealth, which they called Xbox operating system. The idea is basically, while people poo-poo on Windows, the Windows core, basically its kernel and its all that jazz, the file system and all that, is actually good. Like, given how stable and solid it is and how many hardware it can handle, it's good. But here's the deal, it just have too much bloat and junk. Basically, they kept like, number must go up, so let's put Bing, let's put this, that, then put this on that. So junk and bloat is too goddamn high, like bonkersly high. The good core is now suppressed because of the poop on top of it. The core is good. So somebody gave up the idea, basically most likely somebody in extra top layer of Microsoft took 2 executives, basically one from Xbox team, one from Windows team, because yes, the Windows team is the least desirable right now because they are not giving them monthly earnings. While every other system, basically your Office products, they're like, hey, monthly license, monthly payment, and you are like Azure monthly. Xbox monthly. Everything is monthly rental, but Windows licenses are not. Like once you sold a laptop with license key, the end. So, okay. But again, you still won your fourth and fifth yacht. So they're like, hey, we cannot just dump a like 10-20 billion dollar product. So how about we fix this? So they took the Windows, was like, okay, you're gonna be subservient to Xbox Pi. Xbox guys like, hey, make Windows good and again, where people will buy Windows systems. So I do not lose my fifth yacht. And Xbox team is like, okay, I take Windows, I take the good parts and I yeet the bad parts. Basically create a new mode. And all of you are already experienced with this. Whenever your system kaput itself, there is a system which we call safe mode. The idea is you strip down everything. There is a protocol, so to say, built into it where they can load only the bare minimum and you can recover your system. And it does work. It's quite amazing. And you will be shocked how reliable that thing is. Even in a kaput scenario, it can actually recover itself. So it is there. That's why it's like core of Windows is actually good. It's not as horrible as people say it. It's actually good. So they're like, okay, we're going to take that same essence and make a different core. So we're going to take everything, the graphics driver, basically all the software part of it, driver part of it, will take care of it, and you will disable everything. We'll disable the Windows runtime, we'll disable task manager, all those things. We're just going to kaput that. So designing optimization would be done by Xbox team. Why Xbox team? Because they know how to have a complete operating system running only on controller hardware. They do not have the luxury of remote, they do not have the luxury of keyboard and mouse. So they have to make sure everything works with just this. So they're gonna do it. Because again, if you try to do Microsoft Point, they could not even get a tablet done correctly. So Xbox team will take the lead. Basically, Microsoft's Windows department is like, just feed what Xbox is asking. Xbox is design the whole damn thing, optimize the whole thing, which simply means shift delete everything that you do not need. And then you have a stripped down Windows, which is your Xbox mode, and then have a toggle. Basically, that is the hidden secret of these puppies, meaning they can go back to your non-stripped down Windows. Now, do you need that non-stripped down window? Yes, many new applications call up that weird things, and especially a lot of the digital rights management, they always call up those new feature. So again, it can be worked around, but it's like so you may want to like just don't tamper with it, have the ability to fall back, meaning this puppy is a gaming console and a full-fledged Windows laptop, not a Linux laptop. No, Windows laptop, meaning you can do video editing, CAD work, anything and everything like it's a Windows laptop. So that's the whole point of Windows. Basically take the intelligence, the polish that Xbox people have and force it to basically filter Windows. Basically take the Windows, poop should go on one side, awesome stuff remains one side, and that becomes the complete package. Meaning you start it up, it has the ability to do hibernation, it has the ability to pause, it can do things without poofing the battery. So it's basically, the idea is it should be as good as people are getting on Steam's operating system. The hardware is same, let that be very clear. Steam operating system, Xbox and Windows all are using exact same hardware. You can take literally same hardware and install all three. So that's the whole point of Xbox OS, is that make Windows good enough where it's actually usable as a console first. Everything else is there, it's in hidden, it's just, don't worry about it. So that's Xbox OS. Now we come to the hardware part of it. Now there is two puppy launch with this, which you have ROG Xbox Ally, lower cost, which is basically more or less exactly like Steam Deck. Do not think too much about it, and that's why I said like you can actually try 3 operating system on that hardware right now. And then you have a flexing system, which is ROG Xbox Ally X. Couldn't they have used the word Pro? But okay, they have X. Now this will be expensive, let that be very clear. This will be expensive, but it has things to justify that kind of price. It has Ryzen AI Z2. You're like, okay, what does that mean? That simply means it has Zen 5 parts. That is GG. That's good. And it has 24 gigabytes of RAM. That is good. And that's ultra good here because whenever you're talking about SoC that are going into this, the VRAM and system RAM is same. So if they can have a scenario where 24 gigs are there, so the VRAM becomes huge. Oh, and because of the fact that Xbox has stripped all the stuff, they have shaved out 2 gigabytes extra. Like by default, do nothing, 4 gigabyte was being consumed. Now they have only left with 2. And they said they can even drop it, which again, most likely it is true given the fact that's how I think Xbox could be as low as 700 megabytes. You can do that. So 24 gigabytes is a lot, and given the fact that you are saving 2 gigabytes from Windows, and then you have that large pool which is running at ludicrously high speed of 8,000 transfers per second DDR5, that's like, damn. So this puppy is fast. That's why I said, like, when you switch it back to Windows, it's actually a competent laptop. And because it's Zen 5 part, it has Thunderbolt 4 support, meaning you can just do everything that Mac can do. You just like plug it, done. So that's a really good thing. Again, Thunderbolt 4 used to have their own DisplayPort cable, then they switched to USB-C. So Thunderbolt 4 right now looks like a USB-C. And it has DisplayPort 2.1 and power delivery 3.0. Not 3.1, they do not need 3.1. 3.1 is 240 watts of power. They don't need that. And it has 1 terabyte of NVMe SSD, which is 2280 series, meaning it's a standard size. You can just buy it. And 80 watt hour battery, which is good. I'm like, they can only give 200 because after 100 you can't carry it in plane. So 100 is the upper limit. 80 is actually good. Like, there are laptops that people are buying right now that only has like 60 and 70. So 80 is actually good. Be mindful, this is a chunky puppy. So if you're like, hey, I want something light and easy, no, this is a big puppy. So it's a 7-inch full HD display, and they have 500 nits of brightness, which again, the display is not that great because again, if you're flexing this hard, please give OLED. But like, all things considered, it's like, okay, you have 120 Hz full HD. And again, the processor Zen 5 cores are powerful enough where they're like, I got this. And again, you have enough VRAM. So even the unoptimized games that actually expand bigger than 16 gigabytes of VRAM, that can also run. So hardware is really flexing. But again, I'm reasonably sure it's going to be painfully expensive. So what can we expect in the future? Well, Valve is on the right track. We cannot deny that, because this sort of shock and awe effect happening on a stagnant industry, or an industry that people thought only Nintendo somehow figures it out, is like, no. Gabe Newell is like giving me that vibe of Jeff Bezos, where it's like, when Jeff Bezos wants to do something, he just does it. It's like, yeah, let me do it. So he's dealing with that. And the only problem he has to deal with right now is that anti-cheat software is still a hassle. And again, I understand why anti-cheat softwares are there, because there are a lot of online gaming and people make life miserable once they start to cheat. So you have to have anti-cheat systems, but those systems are not willing to work with Valve system, because again, the same authentication key that is used for Windows, again, they can create another key specific for Steam. It can be done. It can be tested. It can be validated. Steam is ready to work with them. It's just like, nah. And that's why I want that number to be bigger. Once that number crosses 10 million units or 20 million units, they will. Right now, they're not. But again, they also have to update a new hardware, because again, 3-year-old hardware, good. They got good run with it, good experience data with it. And he was hand delivering it in that, basically where Valve's headquarters is. He literally sent out an email. Anybody in this area is like, they figured out whoever is in that area, he hand delivered it. Video down below. So it's like, most people are confused. It's like, who is this guy? Again, they were using mask. This is that time. And he's like, ta-da! So, and Microsoft is also trying something very best, because no matter how much moaning and all that people do, there is nothing that comes, again, for front-end part, to the raw oomph of Microsoft. Nothing. It's been there from freaking 1980s. There is a good reason for that. It's like, everything is like cool, but there is a genuine reason why the moment CloudStrike happened, everybody's like, why my airport is running on Windows? Yeah. So there is nothing that comes close to that ecosystem. So imagine your console, it's a console, it's a badass console. But when you are like, hey, I need to do some work, it's a full computer. No BS, it's a full computer. It's not like, oh, you can't run this application or that application. No, it's a full computer. So that is very magnificent, meaning if you are investing in this, it's like buying a computer. So that actually makes it far more palatable for a lot more people. I was like, hey, I can buy this. I can have fun, portable, have fun, enjoy. And when I need to work, plonk it. And again, Thunderbolt 4 docks, once you plonk it, you can do things with it. So that's there. And this also puts some pressure on Nintendo to become reasonable, because again, Nintendo right now is just flat out pissing on the customer. I'm like, I'm okay with DRMs and all that jazz, but at some point you just start to piss on the customer. It's like, this plastic box that you're buying, nothing. It's just e-waste. Not even e-waste. Calling it e-waste would be insulting the e-waste. It would be like plastic waste, microplastic waste. There is nothing in it, just a serial number. I'm like, I get it, you want to piss on the customer. Don't piss on the customer. It's like, oh, I pay you. No. You do not pay me. You have the privilege to paying me, because the user agreement now says, F you. Not even joking. That's literally what it says. F you. Right now, current agreement is you are renting the equipment. Let that be very clear. You are renting the equipment. So Nintendo can remote brick your system. Let that sink in. Nintendo can remote brick your system for you doing something with it because of you. Oh, and the plastic things that you have, okay, let's curate it and all that. No, no, no. Those are use and throw. Why? Because they are just serial number. They don't even give data because of you. So there is an upper limit. Basically, I'm all for DRM, all for this and that, but there has to be a reason for it. Like you have to be like, okay, don't directly start pissing on the customers. Like, and again, I am really ashamed of the customers who actually support this sort of behavior, because again, you do not lose your rights and freedom on day one. You slowly lose it away. So this is how slowly losing it away feels like. So now there is a genuine point where people are like actually happy with their Steam Deck. People are actually looking forward to Xbox system. That's a good thing. Meaning it's like, hey, I want to look for some handheld gaming. And Nintendo, again, for all the good they have, it's just that few IPs that keep polishing. The influx of new IP is almost negligible. It's like all you can hear about Zelda, Mario, Donkey Kong, this and that, the end. So they have to come down their price. Like, what if I charge $100 for every game cartridge? It's like, why? Don't even waste plastic with that. No, just if you want. That's why I said like Valve is such a good partner. It's like they understand these sort of things. So Valve is like, bro, we got you. Why waste with this and that? Just an email, take it and go. Backups, take it and go. So this is a really good thing. A good market will have multiple players, and two good players relatively compared to Nintendo, both are like freaking godsend. Steam is really good, and even this Xbox team, there is some serious potential where they're like, and again, they're both competing on the same hardware. That means the hardware price will come down. That's awesome. More competition, better for us. We want this world. This world is awesome. Imagine a world where you just have this sort of console and it's a full-fledged, high-end computer also. That's awesome. Imagine that's being cheap. That's awesome. Imagine you don't have to buy to Nintendo. That's awesome. Imagine Nintendo is like, hey, okay. We'll actually, because you're like, okay, they don't have to listen to 150 million. They have that kind of sales. It's like that 150 million can fall apart very quickly. Look into how many millions of unit PlayStations 2 has sold. The largest, the most successful console ever. PlayStation 2 is not big. It's daddy. So this was my presentation on this Xbox operating system deal. Hopefully you have liked it, learned from it. In that case, please click the like button, share it amongst your friends. That will help me a lot. If you didn't like it, didn't enjoy it, I urge you to press dislike, press it twice to show me extra disappointment. Please leave a comment because I do try to reply to all of them. Subscribe, press the bell icon if you're free. And as always, thanks for watching.